What's up, everyone? I'm a mess. This situation I'm working with over here on the Honda HRV transmission is a mess. So we took the cover off of it. We'll get to why. Kind of had to. But as you can see, the band inside had broken. See the band? And it comes with all these little those little pins that hold this band together, right? It's hard to pull it apart with your hands all oily, but you see how it attaches there. So these bands broke apart inside of here. You see that? So all the broken bands. So all that tore apart inside of the casing. That's what was wrong with this transmission. Technically, you could put a new band in there and it would work again, supposedly. But the junkyard transmission had taken a hit on the cooler, and when it took that hit, I was sitting over here getting ready to put it in, and I noticed, let me turn off this fan. It's nighttime, but I had the fan on to shoo away the mosquitoes because it rained and they're lit over here. So here's your band all put together. You see what it's supposed to look like? And that band spins your bottom drive right here and locks into different gears. Here's your tensioner. Here's all your guide pins. So there's all your guide pins on that. I'll get you a better view from further back. All right, so why did I take that apart? Here we have both covers, bearing, O-rings, guide pins. So why did I take that apart, guys? Not because I like doing extra work. That's for sure. I'll show you this one right here. This one next to this one. See if I can get them to fit here next to each other. Okay. So, ouch, sitting on this jack don't feel good on my butt. All right, so this is the one that originally came, the one that he bought from the junkyard out in Clearwater. That's the cover that originally was on the new transmission going in. That's the cover that was on the bad transmission over there that came out. Oh, can't get comfortable for anything here. Okay, so if you see when that cooler fell, it took a hit and broke right here. And it's peekaboo straight through the case. And so that's no good. And you can see what it's supposed to look like here, right? You have your, took a hit there too. You have your upper bolt coming through, and then you have your bottom bolt. Now if you look here, this sensor, some kind of pressure sensor, I don't know the exact name of it, should go there. There's the top one and bottom one. So this should go here. And it's broken all the way through from when it fell over and took a hit. So couldn't use this cover, couldn't just put this up there the way they brought it to me. Now the customer went to go buy this junkyard. Normally I like to go buy these things. I was sick as a dog, y'all, like just hugging the toilet sick. So I couldn't go. And he volunteered to go. God bless his heart. He's a nice guy. I like him. Both Edwin and Cameron are good dudes. They had the best intentions, but they're just not really qualified to look and inspect this stuff. When he dropped it off, unloaded it, I looked it over and even I missed it. So I'm not going to beat them up about that. I didn't catch it right away. Maybe I would have caught it out there before I buy it. That's usually like before I hand over the money. I have this attitude of let me check this real good. And then once it arrived here, it's kind of like, well, they already bought it. Let's just get it unloaded type of attitude. And it's easier for me to miss it. But now as it's getting ready to go up and go in, I'm doing my last little full inspection here. Let's do one last little inspection here before we put this up in there. And I won't have to take it back out again. And that's when I noticed that. As I was unplugging the harness and looking through all that. So at that point, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to pop the cover off of the old one. And pop that cover that's not broken with the sensor onto the new one. And this one is just going to go in the scrap pile with that transmission over there. Scrap pile. But I just wanted to document what kind of an asshole junkyard place this is. To have sold him this broken like this with the smashed up transmission cooler and everything, and not even gave him a deal on it. Like not come out and said, hey, listen, we're selling you this transmission. It took a hit. The casing is cracked. You can take the casing off your other one and swap it. You can get the cooler and everything and swap it, you know. But long story short, we're going to give it to you at a discounted price under these circumstances. No, they pretty much sold it to him at full price what other people were selling the same transmission without being damaged or cracked or having a bad transmission cooler. So I went and had them buy a new transmission cooler. OEM from Honda with the seals and everything, and we'll be installing that sexy thing right there. And this is your part number for those of you that want to see. We did the axle seals. These are the ones that came off of it. These are your part numbers. This is the socket that I use to hammer them in. So they are different. This one is 91206 and the other one is 91205. Slight difference. They look the same, but slight different. The same socket will work for both of them. I used a 1 11/16 diameter socket to hammer that on. Use the seal puller to pull it. We will be using genuine Honda OEM HCF2 transmission fluid from Honda. That's what these CVT transmissions like. This is the cooler that fell over and took a hit. Was originally here. And this bolt, you couldn't even get a socket in it. Like, you couldn't even get the socket into it because of the way it was smashed over. I had to smash it more that way with a hammer to be able to get the socket. You see where I stretched the aluminum right here where the bolt goes into? I had to stretch the life out of that. That bolt hole should be like this one right here. And I stretched the life out of it to get it to come out, to get the socket. And so yeah, this thing was mangled up. So he's got the new cooler, transmission cooler. He's got the broken transmission casing. He's got the broken belt, right? And I'm going to show you here. Let's see if we can get this glare out of there. There we go. This guy, printed by James, 60419, Clearwater Auto Recycling, 2016, HRV, automatic CVT, front wheel drive, 1.8, according to them, 24K on this. So yeah, Clearwater Auto Recycling is garbage. Don't buy from them. They screw people over. My buddy Edwin and Cameron, they don't know much about cars. They don't know how to look for that. Even a seasoned veteran like me can easily be fooled by something like that. You know, that's not something easy to catch right there. You know, that can slip by just about anybody. You know, so they bought a broken used transmission, and they were assuming that it was good to just install, and that's it. So here I am playing MacGyver, right? Doing all this extra work I'm not even getting paid for. I'm really not even charging them to do all this. At this point, I could take an attitude of, here, go return this. This is no good, and bring me another one. But instead, you know, I like these guys, so I'm going to go out of my way and play MacGyver here and try to make one good transmission out of the two that I got here to work with, right? So we'll be installing this cover on there, junking this. Well, I got it out here. I'm going to show you guys the new seals installed. So there's your new seal. You want your seal to be flush. You don't want it to be too pushed in. You don't want it too pushed in there, and you don't want it sticking out too much. You want it just the way it is, nice and flush all the way around. And this is seal number 1. And the same thing with seal numero 2 over here. You want it nice and flush around the edge right there, see? All the way around, not too far in. Not too far in, not too far out. Too far in, it leaks. Too far out, it leaks. You want it nice and level and flush. When you install those, use the socket I showed you over there, 1 11/16. Be gentle. Apply a gentle, thin coat of lube. Get those on there. Up under here. Up under here, we got the flex plate installed. We got all the bolts torqued down to 75 foot-pounds. We have a thread lock on them. We have the mark lined up. It moved a little bit when I tightened, but it was lined up when installed exactly the way it came off. We blew out all the gunk inside the threads. Let me show you. Try to sit up. So inside there, we blew everything out, cleaned out all the holes, got everything ready to take on the new bolts, everything nice and clean. Inspected the starter teeth, everything looked good on that. This is ready to just bloop, plop up this transmission in place. And that's what I would have been doing, and I'd have that accomplished. But again, we have a situation with this transmission having to steal parts off of the old one because they sold him basura, junk that, who knows, when they were loading it somewhere in the warehouse, it probably slipped off of the forklift, one of the guys carrying it. Maybe the car that it came off of was hit in the front end, and when it got hit in the front end, that took a hit, and they were like, this transmission's still good, we'll sell it to some fool that don't know any better. And not to call the owner a fool, but it's just, this isn't his profession. This isn't what he does for a living. You know, he's really good at what he does for a living. This is not what he does for a living, so he missed that. And even somebody that does do this for a living could have easily missed that. So, you know,